This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo. Brought to you by Advanced Rehab, Urgent Med 1, Boyd's Transmissions, Golf Cart Wholesale, Alan David Tucker, and by Marshside Grill. And now here's your host, Glynn Academy Insider, Drayton Hogarth.
Welcome to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Drayton Hogarth on location at Marshside Grill, where we'll be each and every week on Sunday nights at 6:30 for the entire season. This segment of the Rocky Hidalgo Show is sponsored by Marshside Grill, Advanced Rehab, Urgent Med 1, Boyd's Transmissions, Golf Cart Wholesale, and by Alan David Tucker. And now joining us, the head coach of the Glynn Academy Red Terrors, Rocky Hidalgo.
Thank you.
Welcome, Coach. Well, no one was expecting to make two trips to Jessup this past weekend, but that was what was required to get the victory, 28-14 over the Wayne County Yellow Jackets. Tell us your initial assessment of the game.
Now I can say I've been to Jessup twice in my life. And I'll be honest with you, I've been to Jessup and I want to go by and eat at that little restaurant on the corner there, that Southern German cuisine. I don't know what that is, mixed Southern cuisine and German cuisine, but I'm going to drive back and go get it. You know, it was an interesting night. I think our kid, we had to battle a lot of adversity to get that win against a very good football team. Wayne is really good. I mean, they are a big physical football team. They played 12 games in Quad A last year, returned 18 starters. They're gonna be one of the better teams in Quad A this year. I mean, I think you can look for them to make a deep run, and any Wayne County fan ought to be excited about the program that Coach Grooms has. Where he's a great coach. The kids play really hard. Very physical game. They were a very physical football team.
Mm-hmm. Now, I was surprised the game started completely over Saturday. Is that just a mutual agreement, or is that a state rule, or what?
It's actually National Federation because we didn't complete a quarter. We were supposed to start it back over, so that's the National Federation rules. They put it up to Coach Grooms and I if we could pick up where we left off, and we both agreed to just go on and restart the whole thing. So very few times. Honestly, it was an ugly first quarter, so I was okay hitting reset on it. It was something I really wanted to forget.
Exactly. When you guys got off to a fantastic start, obviously. First play, 54 yards to DJ Dallas. Was that play call, just to set a tone, or were you just want to try to catch them napping early on in the morning, or what?
Well, we had seen something Friday night that we knew we actually had called it. Coach Harp, our offensive coordinator, who did a great job, he called some really good calls in the game. Mm-hmm. He had seen it. He and I had talked about the spot play that we run and how they were going to defend it when the corner earlier in the game Friday night, when the corner drove off and hit Garrison, and it was a big hit on Garrison. We both knew that because of the way they were playing that, we were going to get 6 on that play. Mm-hmm. So he called it. Had we not had stoppages, that was the next play we were going to run. The kids executed very well. DJ did a great job of selling it, and it was a touchdown.
Right. Now, as your playmakers did just that, Justin Larson, 3 touchdowns, DJ over 150 yards receiving, nice returns. Garrison Hurd, of course, inside, getting tough yards and showing some nice hands out of the backfield. Is that kind of the biggest strength of your offense, you feel like, is just the numerous options that you have to attack a defense?
Well, what we do offensively is we want to, people talk about the spread, and a lot of people mistakenly believe that is spread formations. It's really about spreading the ball around. We want to have 5 to 7 guys touch the ball on Friday night, and we feel like we're really developing those guys. We've got 5 or 6 guys who are options for us who can really threaten the defense. And Justin did a lot of good things. I think you'll see him continue to develop. A lot of people remember Justin. He won 2 playoff games for us last year, but Justin came out during the Ware County week. And really, outside of the 2 playoff games, that's the only experience he had playing football. So he's really inexperienced at quarterback. So he's every game he gets, I think you'll see him get better. He really made some throws on Friday that was really impressive. We had some discussion with him today about some decisions that he made. I think he's a very cerebral guy. and he did some really good things, made some really good decisions, and I think you'll see him improve and continue really to start really protect the football a little more.
Right. This is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Now, as Saturday unfolded, your team seemed like they were in total control in that first half, but then it seemed like you guys left a lot of points on the field. Is that something that you want, next thing you know, it's a tie ball game, is that something you want to stress to your team to put those points on the scoreboard?
Yeah, you know, we had some really good field position, and we had some turnovers and penalties that really killed us. And, you know, part of that is we had a couple of illegal receiver downfield penalties on a guy that's never really played football before. And, you know, as coaches, we take for granted sometimes that a kid who's never played knows that you shouldn't go downfield, and so we had to coach that and stress that. You know, but we had some misalignment penalties, and in there with some guys who are just new. I mean, we had some you know, offensively we had 4 or 5 guys that were starting their first game for the first time, and you know, we made some mistakes there, but that's expected. You know, I think the big thing that we've talked about is when we have an opportunity to go take control of the game, and I think we had 2 or 3 opportunities in the first half, we've got to take advantage of it.
Right. Now, there was another play that picked up some great yardage, was the hook and lateral. How do you go about calling a trick play like that in the game? Or is it something that you see the defense doing in game, like you mentioned earlier, or is it something that you base on scheme in preparation during the week?
A little bit of both. We carry 5 trick plays with us every week. I mean, we have them, and you know, we intend to run some of them every Friday night, and it may entirely depend on what the defense is doing. Defensively, their secondary was very aggressive every time we sat down a route. They were really driving on the football. We felt like if we could catch the ball and get the pitch off, we had a great chance to get a big play. We almost broke that and scored.
Mm-hmm. Now, one play going back to Friday night, the last play where you scored on the touchdown, what was the penalty that was so late that was thrown?
It was basically hitting a defenseless player. We had one of our players that blocked behind the play. It was a legal hit. It was not a clip. It was something that he hit him in the front. We try to stress to our kids not to block behind the plays, and one of the things that over the last 3 or 4 years that the National Federation's come up with is we want to stress the safety of the players, and so we're trying to eliminate the sport is trying to eliminate those big hits behind the play when a guy's trailing the play and somebody comes in and blindsides them, and that was the penalty. It was a legitimate call, and it's something that it's a learning opportunity. You don't want to beat a kid down for being aggressive. I like, if we're going to make penalties, let's make aggressive penalties. But you know, we've got to make better decisions, because that one cost us 6 points in a game that was really close. I mean, that could have been the difference between winning and losing.
Right. Now, one major factor that seemed to give your team the edge Saturday morning was your special teams. You guys had the field position all day long. Do you feel like your special teams gives you an advantage in every game on your schedule?
Well, you know, I think Jeff Imperial, our special teams coordinator, works really hard at it. I brought him from Walton with me. He did a great job for us at Walton. I think in probably 95% of the games we ever played at Walton High School, we won hidden yardage and special teams yardage, and that was a big reason for our success. And when we came down here, that was a big part of what I wanted to do. I wanted to make sure that we were winning those, because the region and the teams we play are so very talented. You know, 20 or 30 yards over the course of a game, it can be a big difference in a game that was as tight as Saturday's game was. Right. I think Jeff does a great job. You know, we're very fortunate. Kip Hall, who we hired from Atkinson County, who has head coaching experience, he coaches our snappers. He's got a lot of experience coaching snappers. And he also kicked and has developed some kickers, so he works with our kickers. Jeff has done a great job with that at Walton for me, with our punters and kickers. Coach Bailey works with our return guys, and it's a big part. We spend a lot of time in our preseason working on special teams, and we feel like that's a 1/3 of the game.
Right.
And you know, our punt returns and kickoff returns are offensive plays for us. And we're going to, you know, if we're good defensively, we're going to have, 7 to 10 additional offensive plays because of that punt return. Right. So that's something that we want to excel at. We want to make sure that we have an opportunity to score every time we touch the ball.
Right. There's more to come on the Rocky Hidalgo Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Right now, these words from our sponsors.
Marshside Grill is your home for the best burgers, spuds, and seafood around. Come enjoy the view out by the water while taking in an ice-cold beverage. Marside Grill is your home for the Glynn Academy Red Terror Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo and a proud sponsor of Glynn Academy and local high school athletics. So stop in any day or night of the week for the best view and atmosphere here in the Golden Isles, and also check us out on Facebook. Go Terrors! Tired of waiting hours to get in and out of the ER or can't get in to see your doctor? The wait is over. Urgent Med 1 is a fully functioning urgent care clinic with highly trained professionals, on-site x-ray and labs that will get you in, out, and on with life. Open weekdays 9 a.m. to 9 p.m. and weekends 10 a.m. to 6 p.m. or sign in online with ZipPass. Located off exit 36B on Highway 341, look for that MASH Jeep with the big red cross out front, ERGENT Med 1. Drive a few minutes and save a few hours. That back won't stop aching or that knee won't stop throbbing? Your answer is Advanced Rehabilitation and their staff of professionals. Locations in Brunswick and on St. Simons for your convenience. Go to the place that is trusted by student athletes all over the Golden Isles as well as professional athletes. Advanced Rehabilitation specializes in neuro and orthopedics and will have you back in the game in no time. Find a clinic near you, physicaltherapygeorgia.com. It's hot and keeping your pool running is essential right now. ASP is your hometown pool care and maintenance neighbors. Marcus and the professionals at ASP will have your pool looking and running like a dream to help you beat the heat. 912-230-5777 or online at www.stsimonsgapoolservice.com or find ASP on Facebook. ASP is a proud supporter of Glynn Academy Athletics. Let's go Terrors!
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. I'm Drayton Hogarth on location at Marside Grill. This segment is brought to you by Marside Grill, Urgent Med 1, and Advanced Rehab. Little Thunder. Coach, it seemed like Wayne County got a spark in the whenever they brought in the backup quarterback. I believe that's Coach Croom's son. Did they kind of catch you guys off guard by going deep with him when he came in?
No, that wasn't it at all. I think if you really look at that drive, I mean, there were a couple things. We got a personal foul on their sideline, gave them 15 yards, and then we had our corner fall down and kind of gave them a play down the one. When you play a game against good football teams, guys are going to come in and make some plays. You're not going to hold a good team scoreless the whole night. Coach Grooms' kid, he came in and he did a good job. He threw the ball. He's going to be a really good player because he stepped up and throws the ball well, puts it where it needs to be. Their kid made a great catch down there, and we're young in the secondary. I love our secondary, how aggressive they are. Trey, he did make some great plays, but he's still learning. When a guy gets behind you, you don't have to panic. You can just run to cover and go play ball. And he had that happen to him a couple times during the night. But every week he'll continue to get better. But I think from my perspective, I think that was one of those things. The timing, we were a little tired on defense. We had a hard time kind of really generating a rush there, and they drove down and scored the game. Scored right there before the half.
Right. Seem like there was possibly a late hit or uncalled late hit on DJ Dallas? Did that kind of get you guys fired up any at all, or? Over on our sideline,
it's just one of those. You're going to have 4 or 5 of those in a game. My only thing is when you play the game, I hope that we get as many as the other team. And I think some of our kids may have gotten excited about that. Football's a funny game, and emotion plays such a huge part in it. If that did, I appreciate them doing it.
Do it more, right? Tell me this, one young man, Jeremiah Anderson, kind of let his emotions get a little bit the best of him. He's got thrown out of that game along with the Wayne County player. Is he going to have to sit out this next game coming up as well?
As of now, he is. I'd rather not talk about that. I've got some film that Monday I'm going to bring to Coach Waters and talk with Coach Waters about it. Generally, in these circumstances, that official associations are not willing to review film, and the state, once the paperwork's been turned in, it's a done deal. But it clearly shows on tape that he did not throw a punch. And honestly, an elbow was thrown at him and he extended his hands, and I think the kid was kind of losing his balance. You watch it on tape, you can clearly see that he did not throw a punch, and it was, it's a bang play for the officials. It is what it is. I wish in that circumstance, I'm really not sure either player should have been ejected.
Right.
But I'm not there making the call, and it was hot. It's one of those things that happens sometimes.
Right. You're listening to the Rocky Hidalgo Coaches Show on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Now, how about the injury report? Or has everybody come away healthy from the Wayne County game?
I think we might have Devin Peacock might be out a few days, or maybe a couple of weeks. He got hit kind of funky and sprained his ankle. We'll have to see on Monday how he feels, if he'll be available on Friday. I say it's probably a 50-50 chance today. Other than that, everybody's a little sore. It was a very physical game, so we're sore today. We brought the kids in and ice bathed everybody, and I think we'll be good to go physically on Friday.
Okay. Now, I know last week you talked about, and you mentioned it earlier, Wayne being so physical and probably the biggest line of scrimmage that you'll face this year. How would you assess your offensive line play?
We were inconsistent up there. I think we did a lot of good things. Our pass protection was pretty good, and Wayne is very good up front. Their front six is probably as good as we'll play. I mean, they're huge. They average 290 pounds a man. I mean, some of those guys, I think they had to use hand trucks to get them out on the field. They're so big. But their middle linebacker is sensational. I talked to a lot of coaches about him, and guys that asked me, hey, what do you thought about him? And I'm going to tell you, he was really good. He was really impressive. One of the best I've ever coached against. His pursuit was really good. Our offensive line did a really solid job in pass protection. I think we kind of had some breakdowns at some spots where we had some inexperience on our combos and double teams. I think our left side, where we have Frank Farrell and Kyle Larson, guys who played a lot of football games, played 13 games last year. They really held their own and did some good things. Our right side, we've got some new guys playing over there, and we made some mistakes. They did some good things as well, but they looked like it was their first game that they played. The good news is they're just going to get better from here on out, and as they get better, we'll continue to improve offensively.
Right. How about flip it around? It looked like the Glynn Academy front seven was very stout the whole game, very disruptive in the backfield. Kind of speak on them a little bit.
I'm really excited about our defense. I think last year we won a lot of games because offensively we were able to move the ball and score some points. But we had some holes on defense. We played a lot of young kids at the linebacker position. At secondary, in our secondary, we were not particularly physical. We didn't have, with the exception of Adrian Cross, we really didn't have guys who would come down, tackle people. So our defensive line carried us defensively. We lost a couple of those guys, 3 really good players up front. I think people expected us to take a step back on the defensive line. I knew that was not going to be the case. I think Dexter Roberson and Rodney Infante are going to be spectacular this year. They are 2 dynamic players up front. I think Tyler Cleghorn and Jonathan Handy did a good job at the nose. We get Trey Singleton back this week, who is actually our starter at nose. Trey is a very dynamic player, really athletic. I mean, he benches about 400 pounds.
Wow.
And then we had guys like Devin Roberson and Tate Griffin come in and give us a lot of playing time. 2 guys who are juniors will be back next year, and they really hung in there. Our linebacking core, we got Preston Joseph back. He was able to kind of get some of the rust off and play a little bit Friday night. Our 2 inside linebackers played very well. People should just show up on Friday and watch Xavier McClinton play. He runs to the ball. He's a physical kid. He's a lot of fun to watch. But I'm really excited about our secondary. I think we're young back there at corner, and we've got Kendall Cross and Trey Salem playing corner. Kane Cruz is a sophomore playing safety, and Walter Thomas and Kayshawn Walthour they have really turned it up back there. I was watching tape today. I was so impressed with the way they fit on the football, the way they ran to the ball, the way they pursued, and how physical they were. A big part of Wayne's game plan was to try to screen us on the perimeter, and they were not able to because our corners came up and just knocked the fire out of people.
Yeah.
So I think the more they play, the better we're going to get. I think we've got a chance to be exceptional on defense, as good as anybody around. Really do.
Right. We will be right back to the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network.
Need an attorney who specializes in personal injury and criminal law? Alan David Tucker. He fights for the rights of the injured and accused, located next to the waterfront at 9 St. Andrews Court. Since 1982, Alan David Tucker has been practicing law in the Golden Isles and helped thousands of people just like you solve their legal problems. Give Alan David Tucker a call. Proud supporter of Glynn Academy Athletics, 912-267-7123, and let's go Terrors! You've walked your last mile. Boyd's Transmissions will get you riding with a smile. Boyd's Transmissions is your hometown stop for any and all transmission work and much more. Boyd's Transmission has been locally owned and operated for over 30 years right here in Glynn County. Come check us out at 3123 Norwich, right across from the National Guard Armory, 912-264-6768, or find us on Facebook and go Terrors! Looking to make your life more fun? Then check out GCW Carts. With top-of-the-line carts like Easy Go, Bad Boy, and Cushman, you can cruise the island or just around the neighborhood in style. Need to rent a cart? GCW Rental rents carts for long or short-term use, and they make it easy by delivering your cart to you and picking it up when you're finished. So remember, for brands like Easy Go, Bad Boy, and Cushman, visit GCW Carts in Brunswick at the corner of Cypress Mill Road and the Spur, or call 912-434-4601.
Welcome back to the Glynn Academy Red Terrors Coaches Show with head coach Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. This is Drayton Hogarth on location at Marshside Grill. This segment is brought to you by Golf Cart Wholesale, Boyd's Transmissions, and by Alan David Tucker. Okay, Coach, we're heading into the game that everybody in Glynn County is looking to. Crosstown rival Brunswick High. What are you anticipating from Coach Harold and the Pirates this year?
But, you know, whatever they have, we're going to get their best. I mean, that's one of the things I've told the kids and coaches, that we can throw away anything you see on tape, good, bad, or indifferent. We're going to get their best football game Friday night. So I know they're going to show up ready to play. I mean, there's no question. And our kids are too. I mean, anybody who thinks we're going to show up and not be prepared for this game is you know, they're being foolish.
Right.
Our kids will be ready, and you know, I think they're going to come over. They're going to come after us defensively, challenge us to throw the ball down the field. They've got a lot of speed in the secondary, and really in their back seven, their linebackers really run well. So I think they'll probably put some pressure on them and get after us and try to take away the run and force us to make some plays in the passing game.
Right. Did the delay from the Wayne County game change anything in your schedule as far as film study or game preparation?
You know, not really. When I say this, is Saturday is my day off, and most of our coaches, that's our day off, and so it took some time away that we would usually spend with our families, for the most part, but not really. You know, we coached the game, and late Saturday night I did a little film study and got up early Sunday morning and went to work like normal.
Okay. How do you, I mean, not to give anything away, but how do you expect the Pirates to try to come out? Do you feel like they'll look at how Wayne was able to throw the ball? Do you think they'll try to attack that way, or they just stick with their game plan as usual?
You know, I don't know. We've seen them. We've seen Coach Harold against Wayne in the scrimmage, and then against MCA Friday night. They gave a lot of different looks. In a lot of ways, two totally different offenses. So, you know, I'm not sure what they'll do. We'll have to kind of just sit down. And a lot of it is I don't get real big into our opponents. I'll be honest with you. This is, for me, as crazy as it sounds, it's about us. We're going to go coach our kids and do what we do. And if we do a great job coaching our kids to be fundamental and the mechanics of football, regardless of what they do, we should be able to handle it. And so, and that's part of that's a process. And hopefully by game 3 or 4, we're kind of at that point that it doesn't matter what somebody does to us on Friday night. But that's really what we're focused on. We're focused on our fits, our pursuit, our rules, making good throws, our spacing on offense. And regardless of what they do, I mean, there's only so many different ways you can line up and so many formations. You know, at the end of the day, you know, formations come to, you know, opening close formations, 2x1, 2x2, or 3x1 are empty. I mean, really, that's it. That's the only way you can line up. You got to have 7 on the line of scrimmage, a minimum of 7. Defensively, you know, you can go through and list the different ways. You know, a 3-4-4-3, 8-man front, or 3-5-3. That's pretty much it. So we try to teach our kids concepts that they can use against whatever they get. Obviously we'll make scout cards and work specifically against Brunswick, but hopefully we've done our job, as coaches, they'll be prepared for whatever they get on Friday night.
Right. Does it help at all knowing both teams that just played as far as film study with McIntosh and Brunswick, what they did, knowing what McIntosh has?
Not really. I mean, really, it's about our kids versus their kids,
right.
And that's comparing what a team does against one opponent versus what they'll do against you and sometimes it's kind of foolhardy because
right.
it's not apples to apples.
Right.
So you just kind of sometimes you just got to show up, do the best you can, and on Friday night, if they give you something different, kind of scramble a little bit.
Right. And this is the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Now, Brunswick also had a couple of kids suspended. Have you heard anything as far as announcement with that carrying over to this week, or was it a one game, or do you know?
I've heard this, that, and the other thing. I don't worry about that. I mean, we're going to prepare for their best, and it's somebody may break a leg during the week. I mean, so you just kind of have to know what you know and just do the best you can with your preparation. So I don't really worry about focus on those things. Again, we're focused on us. As long as we're focused on Glynn Academy and working on what we're doing, we'll be in good shape.
Right. Now, of course, it's a huge game, city championship, first region game of the year, and so many everybody in the Golden Isles are looking forward to this game. What is your approach to a rivalry game like this?
They're all rivalry games. I mean, Wayne County was a big game. For me, these are all new. When I took the job last year, somebody told me that I could go 1-9 as long as I beat Brunswick, and I said, well, who the hell wants to do that? That's really what I said. I mean, who wants to go 1-9 and win one game of the year and just so I can ride around with my "We Beat Brunswick" hat on? I didn't move down here to go 1-9. And it's a big game, and I recognize, and I probably underestimated how big a game it was. I was a part of a lot of big rivalries back in Atlanta with Walton and Lassiter, or Walton and Roswell. These were huge games. I probably underestimated how big the game was. When you walk out there on Friday night, there are 10,000 people in the stands. Everybody who can afford a ticket's there, right. It's a lot of excitement. And having lived here a year, I've had enough people talk smack to me, understand how important it is in the community. All you got to do is walk around with a red terror shirt on, and somebody, if you're walking around for 20 minutes, somebody's going to talk about the Brunswick Pirates to you. So it's a big deal for the community, and I'm excited to be a part of that. But the other side is, I want more for my football program than just to win a city championship. We want to win the city championship, and we want to do that, and it's a region game. But we want to win a region championship. Right. And we have to have our eyes on a bigger prize, because nobody ever won a championship trying to go 7-4 and be city champs. You have to. You gotta set the mark high, and we can't be. If this is the be all end all of our season, our football program, we can never win a region championship. We can never win a state championship, and so it's important. It's a big game for us, and what I stress to our kids, it's a big game because they're the next ones on the schedule.
Right. Now you mentioned the 10,000 people in the stands. I've talked to DJ Dallas before. Of course, he and Sean are cousins over at Brunswick High. In the first play of last year, DJ stripped Sean of the ball, and Sean said, I wasn't used to having so many people in the stands. Is there any way that you can prepare your kid to use crowd noise or anything like that in practices to prepare?
No, and again, it goes back to what I said before. All of that is peripheral. If we focus on our job, football comes down to very few things. I mean, it really does. It comes down to execution. It comes down to discipline. It comes down to effort. It comes down to focus. And we won the game Saturday because our kids were disciplined and focused. They tied the game and made it 14-14 late in the game. Mm-hmm. A year ago at that time, our kids would have panicked. They didn't. They just went about their business. They did what they were coached to do, and they won the game. And there's a big difference in our team from last year, week one, to week one this year. I mean, when Wayne went up on us 14-0 last year, it was literally panic set in on the sidelines, the stands. I saw people hanging themselves from the back, and it was a great debut. But to me, the best thing about it last year was we were able to sell the kids and come back and win the game. And what I saw Friday night is we had every opportunity to just lay down and quit and lose the game, and nobody would have said anything otherwise, having to travel over twice. Our kids just did what they were coached to do. They hung in tough. They focused on what they were supposed to do. They worked hard and they won the game. That'll carry us through games where we play 10,000 in front of 10,000 people. When we go to Ware County, when we get on a bus and go 5 hours up to Atlanta to play the defending state champions. That's about building a program and teaching your kids every day. This is what's important now. Focus on the task at hand. And our kids are really developing that. Now, our older kids who've been through the fire, it doesn't matter to them. They're just going to go play ball.
Right. Well, on that note, we'll wrap this up. Thanks, everybody, for joining us for the Glynn Academy Coaches Show with Rocky Hidalgo on the Bishop Media Sports Network. Come out to Marshside Grill. Join us every Sunday night at 6:30 for the Rocky Hidalgo Show. This is Drayton Hogarth signing off.